Hey, what's up guys, and welcome to my very first video explaining D&D lore. Now today we're going to start off with a banger with the Planes of Existence. So these are the Planes of Existence. Now you may notice they kind of look like a big wheel, and that is why this is known as the Great Wheel Cosmology. Now we're going to be going from the middle all the way out to the positive and negative planes. More on those when we get to them at the end of the video. Now, first thing first, we have the material plane. Now this is, for all intents and purposes, Earth. Sure, there's magic and dragons and warlocks and wizards, but for all intents and purposes, it is Earth. Now, there was also a second section called the Underdark, and this is split into the upper, middle, and lower Underdark. Moving on to the Feywild, this is where dryads, elves, pixies, and satyrs come from. There was also another section called the Feydark, and this is where ogres, drones, and goblins come from. And then we have the Shadowfell, and the Shadowfell is a transitive plane. So mortals from the material plane go through the Shadowfell, and some choose to stay there and live as undead. Therefore, the entire plane is filled with undead. Now, there's also another section of the Shadowfell called the Shadowdark. Moving on, we have the ethereal plane. Now, in the ethereal plane, there's not much, or at least nothing noteworthy enough to mention in this short presentation. Now, this is also a transitive plane to the material plane, the Shadowfell, and the Feywild to the elemental chaos. It connects all of this together. Moving on, we have the elemental chaos. Now, in the elemental chaos resides the plane of fire, plane of air, plane of water, and the plane of earth. This is where elementals as well as genie come from in the D&D universe. Now we also have the sub-elemental planes of ice, ash, magma, and ooze. Not much is known about these planes because they are sub-planes, but they do exist in D&D canon. Moving on, we have the astral plane. Now in the astral plane, there's not much. Or at least nothing noteworthy enough to mention in this short presentation. Basically, exact same thing as the ethereal. The astral plane connects the inner planes, which is like this thing right here, to the outer planes, which is all of this. Finally, we have arrived at the outer planes. Now, the outer planes, each one has an alignment. So the planes at the top of the wheel are good planes, the planes at the bottom of the wheel are evil planes, and then you have Limbo, the plane of chaos, and Mechanus, the plane of law. And that is D&D planes in a nutshell. We also have the positive and negative planes, which are consisted of entirely light and dark respectively. Now the negative plane drains life, while the positive plane gives life. And that concludes my explanation of the D&D planes of existence. So if you enjoyed, make sure to like, subscribe, comment down below, and I will be making more videos explaining everything I covered in this video in depth sometime in the near future. But until then, that is me for today. Goodbye.